Now we're going to turn to the Rust film set shooting. Prosecutors saying actor Alec Baldwin and the film's armorer each facing 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter for the deadly shooting of cinematographer Halyna Hutchins. Lindsay Davis is in Santa Fe, New Mexico with the latest for us. Good morning, Lindsay.
Good morning to you, Michael. Stunning charges here for the actor and the armorer. The district attorney says that they're warranted, though, citing a criminal disregard for safety. She says that there's a point where negligence becomes recklessness, and in this case, it caused someone to die.
Alec Baldwin is waking up to a new reality this morning. The Oscar-nominated actor faces criminal charges for the 2021 fatal shooting on the set of the movie Rust.
A person died because of this negligence, because of this recklessness.
The Santa Fe, New Mexico district attorney announced that Baldwin, along with the film's armorer, Hannah Guitierrez-Reed, will be charged with 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter in the death of cinematographer Halyna Hutchins. The film's assistant director, Dave Halls, is agreeing to a plea deal for negligent use of a deadly weapon.
3 different people, if they had only done their job, we wouldn't be standing here.
Guitierrez-Reed's attorney released a statement saying these charges are the result of a very flawed investigation and an inaccurate understanding of the full facts. Hannah will be exonerated of wrongdoing by a jury. Baldwin's attorney says the actor relied on the professionals with whom he worked, who assured him the gun did not have live rounds. We will fight these charges, and we will win. The 64-year-old actor was holding a prop gun and rehearsing a scene when the Colt .45 revolver discharged, firing off a live round, striking and killing Hutchins and injuring director Joel Souza.
1, 2, 3. Why did you believe and ultimately decide that you had a strong enough case to bring charges against both Hannah and Alec?
They were not doing the things that they should have been doing in order to have a safety conscious and certainly with guns, a gun conscious movie set.
According to court documents, both Halls and Guitierrez-Reed handled the gun before it was handed over to Baldwin.
Do you feel guilt?
No. I feel that there is, I feel that someone is responsible for what happened, and I can't say who that is, but I know it's not me.
Months after the incident, Baldwin told our George Stephanopoulos that he did not pull the trigger.
It wasn't in the script for the trigger to be pulled.
Well, the trigger wasn't pulled. I didn't pull the trigger.
Prosecutors say otherwise.
The trigger had to have been pulled. So Alec is wrong.
Lisa Tarraco, the attorney for Assistant Director Halls, who helped arrange his plea deal, says her client now has closure.
He can move on, and the Hutchins family can move on. This was the best resolution that could happen, because at least a part of this case is resolved, and it's going to be peace for these people.
Crew member Thomas Gandy was near Halyna Hutchins that fateful day.
My trust in anybody handling prop weapons, it's much thinner than it ever used to be. I would just say don't take it for granted ever again.
Despite this tragedy, producers intend to finish the film. Hutchins' husband is now an executive producer as part of a wrongful death settlement.
The family's attorney released a statement saying, in part, "We support the charges and fervently hope the justice system works to protect the public and hold accountable those who break the law."
The million-dollar question here, authorities say they still don't know how those live rounds made it onto the set. If found guilty, Baldwin and Guitierrez-Reed face up to 18 months to 5 years in prison. Guys.
Thank you, Lindsay. And let's bring in ABC News chief legal analyst Dan Abrams. And Dan, what is your reaction to these charges?
They had the book thrown at them. I mean, this is the maximum possible charges that could have been on the table, because you're not just talking about involuntary manslaughter. You're talking about another theory of involuntary manslaughter, which has an enhancement for using a weapon, which means that if convicted, a mandatory 5-year sentence. Prosecutor didn't have to go with that. I think that's an overcharge here. Why? Because even if you think Alec Baldwin ought to have been charged, even if you think involuntary manslaughter ought to apply, the enhancement for a gun, this more serious mandatory 5-year, isn't supposed to typically apply to a situation where the gun is the crime. It's supposed to apply to a situation where, for example, there's a robbery, right, and someone is killed in the context of the robbery, and you say, let's issue an enhancement here because they used a gun in the context of the robbery, then you get the more severe potential involuntary manslaughter. So I wouldn't be surprised if that particular charge would get dismissed before any sort of trial, if there is going to be a trial at all.
And Baldwin's lawyer, he signaled they're going to fight this. What will his defense be?
The first line of defense is going to be with a judge to say the charges should be dismissed at a preliminary hearing. He's going to say this was a mistake. You can't criminalize an error here. I relied on other people to tell me that this was not a gun with a live round.
And then you had the assistant director. He pleaded no contest to a separate gun charge. His attorney says they believe he has nothing to do with this. So what do you make of that? And what does that mean for Alec Baldwin? What does that mean for Guitierrez-Reed?
I expect he'll be testifying against them. Now, he pled no contest here. What does that mean? It's effectively a guilty plea without taking responsibility. It means you're saying, I think that if this case went to trial, there would be enough evidence to convict me. That's a no contest. But I'm not pleading guilty per se. I think that's probably a technicality here in the context of not wanting to admit it for a civil lawsuit, but he could be a very important witness in this case.
Well, we know you'll be on top of it for us. Thank you as always, Dan.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.